So I usually don't film a lot of these smaller projects I do, especially custom repair work, because a lot of people aren't going to have similar issues. But fixing this, this is an old wagon seat, involved removing a lot of rot and replacing it, and I thought that could help some people. Just as a PSA, if you have stuff, especially stuff outside, but even indoor furniture, putting brackets on stuff that's falling apart with screws in it, especially stuff outside, very rarely works. You can see this was where the water kind of got in, and it just amplifies the whole situation. It's much smarter to take stuff apart, add some joints, and re-glue stuff. So as you can see, this was fairly compromised. The customer for this particular project, like I said, it's an old wagon seat. His grandfather made it. So he wanted it repaired without really messing up the way it was built. So I could have easily rebuilt this whole thing. It probably would have been faster, but it would have defeated the purpose of him keeping something his grandfather made. He wanted to preserve the memory of the object and obviously of his grandfather. So try and keep that in mind as I'm repairing this, because replacing parts might have been a little bit smarter, but like I said, that would kind of defeat the purpose of me fixing it. So I happen to have this slab of older barnwood, which is what I decided to use for this. It's not pressure treated or anything like that, but honestly, if you paint stuff outside, it will last quite a while. That's why there's Victorian houses that aren't falling apart all over the country. You just need to take care of the lumber. And in fact, this one arm was made of poplar. Poplar is a terrible lumber to put outside, so that could be one of the reasons that this was falling apart. But like I said, I have this older pine barnwood, which is actually not a terrible exterior lumber, especially for something that's going to be clear coated. And I mainly did it so it matched it a little bit. I'm going to be cutting off large portions of this rotted wood, which is what I'm doing here. Completely removing the rotted wood. In my opinion, that's the best way to do it. Patching stuff very rarely works. It's kind of a temporary fix. So what I'm doing is I remove those pieces, and then I cut oversized pieces of this barnwood. I'm going to put a groove on both of the pieces that I want to join, and then I'm going to join them with the spline. The glue I'm using is going to be epoxy, which I find works really well for exterior lumbers, better than Type Bond 3, which I like to use in the shop, and that's going to give a permanent repair. Like I said, I've tried patching stuff. There's some Bondo they make for exterior work. It will last a few years, then eventually it always kind of comes apart. The wood that's rotted is already compromised. It's not structural, and it will just keep on rotting. The best thing to do is to completely remove it and start anew. So that was kind of how I was going to go about doing this. This back seat rest, he had both of the pieces and they weren't severely rotted, so I'm just adding a spline to the two pieces. As you can see with the router table, this worked pretty well. This is older lumber, so it's not super flat, so I had to be careful to make sure that I was getting a consistent groove. But you can see those two pieces. There's my groove. It's not centered because I couldn't raise up the bit in my router table high enough to get it centered, but that doesn't really matter. The spline's the same material. Once I glue this together, it's going to be a nice permanent fix. And then the bit I was using in the router table is just called a slot cutting bit. I got that at Lowe's. It works pretty well for a multitude of applications. And then, like I said, I recently made some French doors, and the guidance I got for that project was a book by a craftsman who's been making doors for many years, and his recommendation is to always use epoxy for exterior applications. It will just keep the water out and last longer than any other glue available on the market. I'm not a lover of epoxy, but that is now my go-to glue for anything I'm doing exterior work wise. So as you can see, the next day, this is a slow setting epoxy, so it took all night for this stuff to set up. So I basically did this in sections because I had to remove quite a lot, and it was easier to take off the bottoms and then deal with the backs. Before I started cutting stuff up, I made sure I made a pattern of the one armrest that was the most structurally intact, so I could copy the stuff once it's together. So I just kind of roughly cut off the pieces I glued together the day before, and then the back side of these are going to have to be fixed. As you will notice, everything that needs to be replaced was where lumber met lumber. That's where water gets trapped, and it's where he had hardware. So the bottom side of that seat rest you could see was really rotted. It was because even though they make galvanized screws and exterior grade screws, the screw itself won't rot, but it's a surface for water to get in. Once that water gets in there, it will just start eating away at the wood. So same process, like I said, the backs needed to be replaced, more so on this second piece, and all I did was the same thing. I cut off that back, I added splines, and then glued them back together. The bottom of these has an angle on it because those two arms kind of flay out, and then they meet the backrest at an angle. It was about 10 degrees. So once I had those backside glued into place, and it filmed that because it's the exact same process, I added that angle, and then you could see how that piece will set up. So right now this is replaced. I replaced all of that bad lumber, and I could start putting this back together. So that is basically how that is going to look. And then I could add the angle to the back side of this seat rest. So I'm just using a straight edge on my table saw in order to line that up. I put a little bit of a wedge in the place on my crosscut sled, and this still moved around on me a little bit because I didn't tighten down that clamp enough, but I could tighten it and then make that cut. This is a very well made object. It was obviously made a while ago. The nails in it were square nails, which already means that it's pretty old. So he had used rabbets and angles in order to combine all of his joints. So I had to duplicate all of that. So you can see I'm just transferring the angle down. Now this back seat rest, arguably the edges could have been removed as well. They weren't completely compromised, but as you'll see later in the video, I'm not replacing any of the hardware. I'm going to be using dowels. So sinking a bunch of dowels into this was kind of my compromise for not removing those edges that were potentially could have been removed. And then, like I said, in order for these armrests to meet that backrest, he had a very shallow rabbet on the edge, and it was done at an angle because the angle on the backrest has to match. So I just transferred that onto the new pieces. Like I said, it's very shallow. It only went down about a quarter. And then I just used a chisel. I actually used a little bit of a razor blade, and I could have cut this on the table saw with a dado stack, but because of the angle, I just decided to do it by hand. So all I did was make a kerf cut in the lumber down to my line, and then I just used some chisels and a razor blade in order to remove that material. Like I said, it's very shallow, so I snuck up on it. And this older pine is actually, for a softwood, it's actually pretty stable, so it's not like these modern pines that kind of fall apart. And then I had to match that angle on the back of that back seat on the newer piece. Just use a rasp to kind of transfer that shallow angle down to the bottom, and then this is how those pieces will set into place. So obviously I cleaned this up a little bit, but that was basically how that set. It's matching up with the alignment of where it was before, which I could tell because there's no paint there. So far I was pretty happy with how this was going together. Like I said, his goal was to just get it so that's not falling apart anymore. He wanted to keep this rustic look to it. So then, like I said, I'm using epoxy to glue everything together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use screws essentially as clamps. So while this stuff sets up overnight, I'm just going to put a bunch of screws in place to hold it all together. Because of the angles, trying to clamp this would have been a pain. So all this has screws in it, the bottoms, the sides, and then the next day I'll come in, drill some 3/8 inch holes, and put some dowels in there. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm taking out the screws, drilling some 3/8 inch holes, and then sinking oak dowels in there. So this is not only going to make a really structural connection, but it's going to eliminate any sort of access for water to get into screw holes or nail holes. So I'm hoping that using the dowels will really extend the life of this piece. It's also going to be clear coated, so modern coatings are going to be a little bit better than most likely what was used back when he made this. And obviously a key to anything outside is it's never going to last forever, but if you keep up on the finish. A lot of finishes, they recommend applying them every year, especially if stuff gets a lot of sun exposure or in a climate where it rains a lot. So that is key as well. You can't just paint something and put it outside forever. So where the seat met the springs that this sets on, he had made these parts with a little bit of an arc in the middle so that the arc of the springs matched it. So those also needed to be replaced. These I fully replaced because you don't really see them anyway when you're looking at it. So all I did was copy his marks. There's a countersunk hole because there's a rivet on the springs that if you don't countersink a hole, they won't sit flush. But this was pretty easy. I just matched all of his holes, drilled 5/16" holes for the carriage bolts that I'm replacing, and then you could see the profile on the outside. It's pretty simple. I just used an angle grinder to match that profile and clean the whole thing up. Once again, pretty easy work. I put the profile on both sides of the piece, and I will angle grind down to that line on both sides, and then I just make the two edges meet in the middle. So that is pretty much the simplest way I could describe how to do that. So you could see I started on the edges, and then I make the middle match the depth of the sides. Could clean everything up with an orbital, and then mount that onto the wagon seat. So that's what it looks like. I had this oak laying around. This is red oak, which isn't as graded as well as white oak for exterior purposes, but it will match much longer than stuff like pine and poplar. So that's what that looks like, and then adding that countersink for the rivet in the wagon seat. And then the wagon seat, the springs for the wagon seat, I cleaned up real quickly with just an abrasive disc on my angle grinder. Like I said, he didn't need this to be completely rehab, but I just got all that surface rust off of it. That surface rust will keep eating away at the metal, so removing it will also help with the longevity of that. I could reuse the metal bracket he had through the seat, and then attach these with carriage bolts. The carriage bolts were extremely rusted. I had to cut most of them to get them out, replacing them with stainless steel carriage bolts, so they should last a little longer as well. Now for the bottom, that was basically what he gave to me, and then he decided he wanted a mount for the bottom. So I'm going to go through this really quickly. It was this, I essentially made the exact same thing for the top, only it will have two rails that connect those two pieces that the springs will sit on. So I'm going through this really quickly. I basically made the exact same thing I made for the top side springs for the bottom, which is what I'm doing here. But I decided to add lap joints to the tops and then lap joints to these pieces that will span those two bottom pieces, so the whole thing will fit together. I think ideally he would like to use this as a seat outside, so it had to be a little structural so that you could sit in it without it toppling over. Once again, I epoxied these lap joints together so everything sits flat. Those joints are connected with that glue, protected with that glue. And then once I came in the next day, everything's set up. I added that countersink for the bottom side rivet, and then I could just transfer the holes in the springs, put the carriage bolts in, and then redo the whole thing. So this is very sturdy at this point, especially before it kind of came in pieces. And then for the finish, like I said, he really wanted to keep the rustic look, but what I did was I kind of I took some gray stain with some brown stain, and I got as close to a match as possible. I told him that unless I spend a lot of time on this, you're not going to get a perfect match, but just so that wood looks a little weathered versus brand new wood, mimicking what the chair already looks like. It is a time-consuming process, so he was okay with just getting somewhat of a close match. And that's basically where it's at now. I'm going to send him these photos, and then if he likes them, this is going to be clear coated. So you can see that gray stain. It's not a perfect match, but at least those parts don't stick out as much. I haven't figured out if he wants to add some white paint to kind of blend it as well, but that's basically what that is, fixing that rot on this.